Hello guys, welcome to the Python series on Learn-In. My name is Nse. In today's lesson, we are going to talk about Boolean in Python. Remember, while talking about data types, we mentioned Boolean as one of the data types. If you would like to see the video on data types, the link is in the description. In this lesson, we are going to talk about the Boolean data type. Boolean is a data type that represents the concept of truth. It can have one of two values, true or false. In this tutorial, we will cover the basics of Boolean in Python. So like I just mentioned, Boolean can only be either true or false. In Python, this true must be spelled with an uppercase T and false with an uppercase F. Remember that Python is case sensitive. So, true with uppercase T is not the same as true with the lowercase t. Now let's create some Boolean variables so that we can see how this works. Just like we would create a string variable or an integer variable, we can create Boolean variables. Boolean variables are created by assigning either true or false to it. So I have these examples that are commented, so I'll uncomment them. So here we have a variable named is true, and we are assigning true to it. Notice that true here has an uppercase T. Let me comment this out. Let's take it one at a time. So it's true is a Boolean variable because it has this value of true assigned to it. Now let's print the type of is true and see what happens. Here on the terminal, we have shown to us bool. Bool here indicates that is true is a Boolean variable. I want to comment is true out. Now we also have another variable named is false, and we are assigning the value of false to it. Also notice that false here has an uppercase F. Remember that Python is case sensitive, so false with an uppercase F is definitely different from false with a lowercase f. Let's print the type of is false variable and see what we get. So notice that we have bool returned to us as well. Let's uncomment both is true and is false. Let's have them like that. Now let me run this code. So notice that for the variable is true and the variable is false, we have bool returned to us as the type. So this indicates that these variables are Boolean variables or are of the Boolean data type. So to create a Boolean variable, simply give it a name and assign a value of either true or false to it. Just like we have in this case, we have this variable is true and we have assigned the value of true to it. True has an uppercase T. Very important. We also have this variable is false and we have assigned the value of false to it. False has an uppercase F. Very important. Now let's talk about comparison operators. Comparison operators are used to compare values and return a Boolean result. Let's take a look at some of the commonly used comparison operators. We have equal to, that's denoted with double equal to sign. We have not equal to, that's denoted with exclamation and an equal to sign. We have greater than, which is represented with this symbol. We have less than, which is represented with this symbol. We have greater than or equal to, which uses a combination of the greater than sign and the equal to sign. We also have less than or equal to, which combines the less than sign and the equal to sign. Now let's head back to VS Code and see how these operators can be put to use. So right here on VS Code, we have these variables x and y. While x has the value of 5, y has the value of 10. So we are going to use the double equal to symbol to determine if x is equal to y. Remember that we just said that the double equal to is going to return true if the values on both sides of the operator are equal. We have x double equals to y. So let's run this code and see what it comes to. Just before we run this code, I want to point out that the single equal to sign is different from the double equals to sign, obviously. Remember that we said the single equal to sign is the assignment operator. So when you have the single equal to sign, you are not comparing any values. You are simply assigning a value to a variable. Like we have in this case, x with this single equal to and 5. This means that we are storing 5 in x. In the case of y, we have y single equal to 10. This means that we are storing 10 in y. So now when you want to compare two values, you have to use the double equal to sign. That being said, let's run this code. Notice here that we have false on the terminal, and that is because the value of x, which is 5, is not equal to the value of y, which is 10. Now, having this code written like this, print x equal to y, can be written as print 5 equal to 10. We could have it this way, and it would mean the exact same thing as printing x equal to y, because the value of x is 5 and the value of y is 10. If we run these two lines of code together, notice that we have false and false returned to us. Now, if we change the value of y to 5, in which case this 10 too here on line 23 should change to 5 as well. I'll clear so that we can see clearly. Let's save and let's run this code. So notice now that we have true returned to us in both cases. Of course, they'll be the same because the code on line 22 and the code on line 23 are the exact same thing in this context. So we now have true returned to us because the value of x, which is 5, is equal to the value of y, which is 5 as well. I hope that you get the point. Now let's talk about another comparison operator, the not equal to operator. The not equal to operator is written with the exclamation mark and the equal to sign, just like we have here. Now remember we said that the not equal to operator returns true if the values on both sides of the operator are not true. I see how this can be confusing, but let's take this example and it's going to help us understand things better. Let me change 5 to 10 here. First, so we are working with this same variables x and y. X is 5, y is 10. Let's run this code that says print x is not equal to y and see what we get. So in this case, true is returned to us. On the terminal here, we have true being shown to us. This expression prints true because the value of x is not equal to the value of y. The value of x in this case is 5. The value of y is 10. We can clearly see that 5 is less than 10. So 5 and 10 are not equal. So that is why we have true returned to us. Let's change 10 to 5. Let's run this code. Notice that now we have false returned to us. Because in this case, x is the same as y. The value of x is 5. The value of y is 5. This makes x to be equal to y. So having not equal to is going to print false. So we can simply say that not equal to is the opposite of equal to. So in the case where you have equal to print to true, if you use not equal to, it's going to print to false. I really hope that I'm explaining this in a way that you are able to understand. Okay, let's use just plain English and forget like the comparison operator thing, all right? So we have x equals to 5 and y equals to 5. Even without using any comparison operator like equal to or not equal to, we know that 5 and 5 are the same. We know that 5 is equal to 5. We know that 5 is not greater than 5. We know that 5 is not less than 5. So, obviously, 5 is equal to 5. Okay, so now in this case, when I say equal to, I'm referring to the equal to sign, like the double equal to sign. So in this case, we know that 5 is equal to 5. Now, this code on line 41 is trying to check if 5 is not equal to 5. Obviously, 5 is equal to 5. So this is going to return false. 5 is equal to 5. That is why printing x not equal to 5 is going to return false. I really hope that you get the point. However, if you have any comments or questions, you can say them in the comment section. Now let's talk about another comparison operator known as greater than. Greater than uses this symbol. This here is the greater than symbol. So the greater than symbol, when used, is going to return true if the value on the left is greater than the value on the right. Let's change y to 10. And in this case, we are comparing x and y to see whether x is greater than y. The value of x is 5, the value of y is 10. So we are simply comparing if 5 is greater than 10. So we can as well have print 5 greater than 10, like so. So let's run this code and see what happens. We have false because obviously 5 is not greater than 10. But let's say that we decide to have print y greater than x. Let's save. I'm going to comment this out. So let's run this code and see what happens. Notice that in this case, we have true returned to us. Now we have true because 10 is greater than 5. Obviously, this is just like printing 10 greater than 5. And we all know that 10 is greater than 5. So we have true returned to us. Greater than returns true if the value on the left is greater than the value on the right. So in this case, 10 is on the left and it is greater than the value on the right, which is 5. So we have true returned to us. When we worked with line 58, 5 greater than 10, in this case, the value on the left is not greater than the value on the right. So we had false returned to us. The next comparison operator we are going to talk about is the less than operator. Here is the symbol. This is how the less than operator is written with this less than symbol. Less than operator, when used, is going to return true. True if the value on the left is less than the value on the right. So let's change 5 to 10. Let's save. And here we are comparing x and y again. We are trying to determine if the value of x, which is 5, is less than the value of y, which is 10. Let's run this code. So notice that we have true returned to us because clearly 5 is less than 10. And here, going by this definition, if the value on the left, in this case the value on the left is 5, is less than the value on the right. In this case, the value on the right is 10. So 5 is less than 10. And so we have true returned to us. But if we were to print y less than x, we have false returned to us. So notice that while x less than y prints true, y less than x prints false. Just simply see it as if x is less than y, then y cannot be less than x in the same instance. So while x less than y is true, y less than x is going to be false. I hope that is clear. Now let's talk about another comparison operator known as greater than or equal to. Greater than or equal to is a combination of the greater than symbol and the equal to symbol, just like we have here. Now, greater than or equal to will return true if the value on the left is greater than or equal to the value on the right. Let's change this to 10 again. So we have x set to 5 and we have y set to 10. And we are comparing x and y to see if x is greater than or equal to y. So in this case, we can also have print 5, which is x, greater than or equal to 10, which is the value of y. So if we run this code, you are going to see what comes back to us. We have false returned to us. We have false because 5 is not greater than 10 and 5 is not equal to 10. So if we had x equal to y, true would be returned to us. Or if we had x greater than y, true would be returned to us. That's what this definition is saying, that you will have true if the value on the left is greater than or equal to the value on the right. So now let's print y greater than or equal to x. And from what we see here, 10 is not equal to 5, but 10 is greater than 5. So let's run this code and see what happens. You can see that we have true returned to us because clearly the value of y, which is 10, is greater than the value of x. It's not equal to, it's just greater than. We have true returned to us. One of the conditions has been met. It is greater than, so we have true returned to us. Remember, we are checking if it's greater than or equal to. So when y is greater than x, it's going to be true. When y is equal to x, it's going to be true. So let's make y equal to x by changing 10 to 5. Let's save. I'm going to clear so that we see clearly. Now let's run this code. We still have true. In this case, we have changed the value of y to 5. So printing this code on line 84 is comparing the value of y, which is 5, with the value of x, which is 5 too. So in this case, y is only equal to x. Y is not greater than x. And we have true returned to us. So when the greater than or equal to operator is used, it's going to return true if the value on the left is greater than the value on the right, or if the value on the left is equal to the value on the right. Now let's talk about the less than or equal to operator. Less than or equal to operator combines the less than symbol with the equal to symbol. I forgot to mention this while we're working with the greater than or equal to symbol. While writing the greater than or equal to symbol or writing the less than or equal to symbol, ensure that you have them written together like this with no space in between. If I have a space in between, you can see that this is not looking good. We have a problem here. So you cannot write it this way. It always has to be written together with no space in between. And the same thing with the greater than or less than symbol. You cannot have the space in between. Python will not be happy with it. So you have to always have it written together like this. So that being said, Let's talk about the less than or equal to operator. So the less than or equal to operator returns true if the value on the left is less than the value on the right, or if the value on the left is equal to the value on the right. Okay, so now let's run this code. This code is trying to compare if the value of x is less than or equal to the value of y. So the value of x is 5 and the value of y is 10. And here we are checking to see if 5 is less than or equal to 10. So let's run this code and see what happens. We have true returned to us. It says here that less than or equal to is going to return true if the value on the left is less than or equal to the value on the right. So in this case, 5 is the value on the left and 5 is less than the value on the right, which is 10. That's why we have true returned to us. If we had y to be 5, then we would be comparing 5 and 5 to see if 5 is less than or equal to 5. If we run this code, we're still going to have true because one of these conditions is met. In this case, 5 is not less than 5, but 5 is equal to 5. So that's why we have true returned to us. If we had x to be 15, for instance, and in this case, we would be comparing 15 and 5 to see if 15 is less than or equal to 5. Let's run this code. Now notice that we have false returned to us because the value on the left, which is 15, is not less than the value on the right, which is 5. The value on the left, which is 15, is not equal to the value on the right, which is 5. So in this case, none of the conditions is met. So we have false returned to us. I hope that was clear. One last thing before we wrap it up today, and that is telling us that strings can be compared as well. In all our examples, we compared integers. Strings can be compared. Floats can be compared. Let's see an example with floats. So we can compare floats as well. Let's just use the less than or equal to operator here. And let's run this code. 15.34 is definitely not less than 5.89. It's not also equal to 5.89. So we have false returned to us. We could have equal to here. And if we run this code, you're going to see that we still have false because the value of x is not equal to the value of y. If I say equal to in this case, I'm actually referring to equal to. Let's try not equal to. If we run this code, you're going to see that we have true. True because x is not equal to y. 15.34 is not equal to 5.89. We could decide to have greater than or equal to here. Let's run this code. We have true again because truly 15.34 is greater than 5.89. I hope that's clear. Now let's see how to compare strings. Before I explain, let's run this code. Print uppercase A less than lowercase a. So this is us trying to compare uppercase A with lowercase a to see if uppercase A is less than lowercase a. Now let's run this code, and we have true returned to us. Now this is kind of surprising because uppercase A is obviously a string, lowercase a is obviously a string. So which numeric values are being used to effect this comparison? Now this is possible because in Python, when comparing strings, the comparison is performed based on the Unicode value of each character in the string. Each character in a string is associated with a Unicode point. Now, this Unicode point is a numerical representation of the character. How can you identify the Unicode point of a character? That is where the ORD function, some people might call it ORD function. I choose to call it ORD function. This is where the ORD or ORD function comes in. Now, the ORD function would return the Unicode point of a given character. Let's uncomment this. If we print the Unicode point of lowercase a and we print the Unicode point of uppercase a, let's run this code and see what happens. I see how this can be confusing, so I'm going to comment this out, and I'm going to comment this out as well, and I'm going to clear the terminal. And now let's run this code. Notice that we have 97 returned to us. So the Unicode point of lowercase a is 97. Now let's print the Unicode point of uppercase a. I'm just going to uncomment this. If we run this code, you can see that we have 65 returned to us. So that is why in comparing uppercase a and lowercase a to see if uppercase a is less than lowercase a, we have true returned to us. Now this is just like having print the Unicode point of uppercase a is 65, the Unicode point of lowercase a is 97. So going by the code on line 113, you can clearly see that uppercase a is less than lowercase a. So that is why we have true returned to us. This is the much that we are going to take today. I really hope that you found today's lesson helpful. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Learn In. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.